I'm Ray Robinson with Tennessee Highway Patrol. I'm at the scene of a fatal incident involving a 6-year-old young man in April 2009 as Cedric was walking down his driveway. He walked between two Bradford pear trees and he walked out into the oncoming lane of traffic. The car approaching the school bus did not stop. Because of a 20 amp fuss state fuse, the 8-way lighting system was not working on that school bus. Policies, procedures, preventive maintenance, pre-trip inspections, all are paramount in our job as school bus drivers and school bus professionals. I'm Lieutenant Ray Robinson. With me is Trooper John McFarland. We're both with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. In this training session, we have two main focuses. The first being the school bus inspection. What do we look for as troopers when we inspect your school bus? And number two, the critical incident response team's role when responding to your serious injury crash or your fatal crash.
When we inspect a school bus, we are looking for gauges, oil, fuel, volt, temperature, air pressure, and all other instruments are operational, both audible and visual signals. Switches, normal driving lights, turn stop, tail lights, 8-way lighting system for traffic stoppage, red and amber. Crossing gate working properly. Horn operative. Mirrors, placement correct and adjusted. Foot pedal, brake, clutch, accelerator for being in place and operational. Seat belt, functioning and in use, not cut or frayed. Driver's seat, mounting bolts in place and secure, no other components broken or missing. Windshield, side and rear glass, not missing, cracked or discolored. Windshield wipers, functional and in place. Student seats, tears in seat covers, foam breakdown exposing metal frame, broken frames, and mounting bolts. Emergency exits, correct number and type, markings, functional warning and signals operative. Emergency equipment, fire extinguisher, fuses, stop vehicle warning devices, medical kit, present and functional. Floors, aisleways, and steps, secure, no tripping hazards, no snag points, and interior handrails, no snag points or sharp edges. Outside the bus, first having previously made sure all lighting systems are working. Check body components and bumpers, no snag hazards, smooth sides, and not missing. Tire, wheels, and rims, correct size, type, and ply rating for specific bus. There are no cuts in the tread area or sidewalls. Tread depth, no foreign objects stuck into tire, wheels and rims not cracked, stud holes, elongated, or wheel fasteners missing. In the engine compartment, oil levels checked, coolant level, power steering fluid, master cylinder level if equipped, and all components secured. No fuel, oil, or other such leaks. Steering system. Steering wheel secure, steering shaft secured, universal joints not worn, steering box secure and not leaking oil, pitman arm not loose on output shaft, drag link and tie rod balls and socket joints have no other rotational movement, no loose stud nuts or welded repair, no bent or broken parts. In the braking system, no leaks in the air or hydraulic system, wheel seal leaks, contamination in the brake linings with grease or oil, bent, broken, or missing parts, suspension, broken or missing, or shifted components, axle, misalignment, cracked or missing parts, frame, cracks, vertical or horizontal, emphasis to be placed on attachment points, outriggers, and cross-member front to rear. Exhaust, no leaks, breaks, or holes, exits the vehicle properly, battery system, secured and no acid leaks, no chance of arc, wiring is appropriate.
When your bus has been involved in a crash that results in serious bodily injury or even a fatality, the critical incident response team will respond to your crash. Now, once the member of that team arrives on your scene, there will be certain things that he will do to help preserve the evidence that is present at that crash scene. First off, he's going to make sure that nothing has been tampered with. Everything that occurred in that crash needs to remain as it occurred in the crash. It's very important that nothing is moved, no vehicles are moved, and if you're driving a school bus with air brakes, it's important that you do not introduce any air into that system. All the switches and gauges that are inside your school bus must be left the way they were at the time of the crash. Anything that is moved or tampered with could compromise the outcome of the investigation. The vehicle locations are important because later on in our investigation we will create a scale diagram of the entire crash scene. Also at the crash scene we will document the entire scene by using photographs. In addition to marking the locations of the vehicles, the member of this team will also conduct interviews. Interviews of the bus driver, interviews of all subjects involved in the crash. It is important to understand for the bus driver at the scene of his crash to make sure not to tamper with any evidence whatsoever. And it may be even the most minor of things in the mind of the school bus driver, he should still not move it or tamper with it. They should understand that by doing this, that this is tampering with evidence and could be a separate criminal charge that could be brought against them.
I was once told a story of two young men riding the bus home on one beautiful afternoon. These two young men were best of friends. They were about middle school age. As the bus driver approached the stop where the first young man was to exit, he stopped the bus in the right-hand lane of travel. You see, there was two lanes eastbound and one lane westbound. Mr. Lefevers, the bus driver, checked the mirrors to make sure that everything was okay, that all traffic had stopped. And Mike, as he walked up behind Mr. Lefevers, Mike stopped to make sure that Mr. Lefevers gave Mike the okay to step off the bus. As Mike stepped off the bus, he walked to the front of the bus and he stopped again. Mike looking back at Mr. Lefevers to see if it was okay to cross. Mr. Lefevers once again checking the mirrors just to ensure that all traffic had stopped, gave Mike the okay. Mike started across the first lane of traffic, and as he walked in the second lane of traffic, the bus driver yelled out, "Stop, please stop." An approaching van to the school bus failed to stop for the 8-way lighting system. That van ran over Mike. Mike lay in the highway bleeding. The bus driver, Mr. Lefevers, calmly and with great haste went out to Mike's aid. Mr. Lefevers, seeing that Mike had been severely injured with many injuries, one of which was Mike's head, the back portion had been removed in that incident. Mr. Lefevers took his hand and stopped the bleeding until paramedics could get there. What Mr. Lefevers was able to accomplish was the saving of Mike's life. I know this because I was Mike's friend and I was sitting beside of Mike on the school bus that day. I watched all this take place. I watched their school bus driver go out and save Mike's life. What are you going to do when Mike steps off your bus and something tragic happens? Be prepared. Be prepared to save the life of your child on your school bus.